We then proceeded at that point into our simulated countdown.
Lunchtime, kids! All right! Hello, friends. It's lunchtime.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Friday's episode of the Lunch Break Show. I am Josh, in studio with Zach Lewis and Xavier. And in the booth, as always, is Matt Stoker holding it down for us in there. Is everyone having a good Friday?
It's an all right Friday. It's picking up. Now we're doing the show. I think things will... I'm a second half kind of Friday guy. You know what I mean? I'm picking up in the second half.
On the downslope.
That's right. Yeah. When everybody's getting tired, everybody's ready to go home, people are cutting out early. That's when I get... That's when my work shines. Right when those deadlines are in.
Yeah.
That's when I'm doing the best stuff.
Getting your jaws in the second.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Getting your jaws and your shirt. I do want to comment how dope you look today.
Yeah.
It's taken 10 years off your face. You look great.
I came correct. 10 years?
Well, you know what I mean. That's a saying that people say.
Yeah, I did a little shopping over the weekend.
Yeah.
I've got a whole wardrobe full of exciting things to wear on Casual Friday because I can't get away with any of them on a normal day.
Yeah.
So it's been good.
Season 2 of the Fab Five Queer Eye is on Netflix, and I have been binge watching it. And I'll say I think Tang would be very, very okay with what you have on right now.
I've never watched. I've considered it. Yeah, maybe I should check it out.
It's a phenomenal show.
It's amazing. It's like really feel good, but at some point gets like strikes the right chords and you just start crying like crazy. Like, oh my god, this is
I don't know if I want that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's you feel the highs, you feel the lows, and everything in between. It's a phenomenal program.
Sure.
They take 4 or 5 very fabulous men and put them in the heart of Georgia, where they try to change people's perceptions of clothes and attire and make them all around the best of them that they can be.
So they take the people on the show and take them to Georgia?
No. They're in Georgia, just working around Atlanta.
Got it.
So they work around Atlanta, Georgia, and that's like their home base. And all the people that they take on are in that area.
I guess I'd assume they like traveled around the country and.
Well, I think they used to back in the day, but this is one of those deals. It's just kind of their home base. They're sticking into Atlanta, and
Georgia needs the help.
Well, it's just there's a lot of
Atlanta's been starved for the sight of a real man, as Ric Flair said.
Yeah, so it's one of those deals that they help out people in that area. I think you can go anywhere and find the same people. But it's just easier to stick to one place, and there's no short supply of men in the South who have let their best selves go unattended.
But I think you're missing the very important point, which is they do makeovers, but at the same time they talk about subjects that probably in the South people would have a hard time talking about. You know, homosexuality and being accepted in religion, and how do you come out to your family. There's a lot of, it's just not your regular transformation kind of show. It's really, really good. They've done a really good hybrid between talking about really important subjects and breaking the barriers and empowering people.
A lot of hot fashion tips in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can get into that.
Yeah. They go through the different kind of trends and stuff that you should be wearing and how to dress things up and how to dress things down. And they don't go over the top. They're not like saying, oh, you have to wear Armani or Gucci or Prada. Like a lot of their stuff is very affordable. And different trends, and this isn't a spot for Queer Eye. It's just an off comment about your shirt and how nice it looks, and that tan. Well, one of the guys on the show who does fashion would be very impressed with the ensemble that you're rocking today.
Yeah.
So enough bragging about Zach. It's time to get on to the fun topics of today. And the first one,
let's do it.
Hot dog cannon.
Hot dog cannon.
hot dog cannon in the stadium for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I do believe.
Philadelphia.
So close. The Philadelphia Phillies, same state. The woman was injured by a hot dog cannon.
Right.
If you're not aware, Anna, in the great American sport of baseball, we have little side things. So in between innings to keep the crowd going during the commercial breaks, you'll either have the sausage run. For us, it's the dot race at the Rangers, where
You know why we do that? Because baseball's freaking boring. It's a boring sport, and you got to do something to keep people
And
in the
it's long,
stands.
right? It's very long.
It's
can
long.
be. It
Yes,
can
it can
be.
be long.
Yeah.
It has no official end. There's no timer on it.
Nope.
It ends when it ends, so it could be 6 hours long.
Hey,
Could be a lifetime.
And it's boring the entire time.
America's national pastime.
back before we had TV, baseball was a thing to go to, a social occasion. I think it's still an American sport. Anyway, as in one of the halftime things, they have a thing that they do the hot dog cannon, which is a guy basically in a hot dog suit on a four-wheeler that goes out into the middle with a giant cannon.
Sounds awesome, by the way.
Yeah, and air shoots, boom, a hot dog into the stands. Phenomenal.
Pneumatic
Crowd-
hot dog.
I'm
Yeah.
guessing this is wrapped.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
right,
it would be like
aluminum
literally
foil.
wrapped
Oh
like-
yeah,
It's right. It's got a bun.
Yeah,
Like it's
that
yeah.
would be hilarious. Though, just a raw hot dog, wieners hitting you in the face. That would be phenomenal.
It's
definitely what I
actually
imagined.
wrapped in duct tape, which will explain.
Oh, so all of them are wrapped in duct tape?
Yeah, they're all wrapped in. I guess to get
Sure.
you know,
The
as one piece
yeah.
to get to the, which will explain these injuries here that we're seeing on this woman.
So yeah, they wrap it in duct tape. Apparently, someone was standing too close. Because I'm
boy.
guessing they tend to land for going up and getting the arch.
Yeah, I imagine they try to arc it.
They arc it.
There's a serviceable range of safety on the hot dog
So
cannon.
some woman probably on one of the base lines, a hair too close, and took one in the eye. Took a hot dog, square in the face.
Which, had this been the Pittsburgh Pirates, would have been brilliant for marketing.
Sure, yeah, give her an
Oh
iPad.
my
Exactly. Well done. But this was the
Phillies. Yeah. So nevertheless, she's upset, which I can see her being upset. Sure. I get it.
Yes.
At the same time, though, if that was a foul ball and not a hot dog, it's a non-issue.
Right.
Because on the back it says we're not liable for any injuries that you get during the game.
And you guys pointed that out to me. That's printed on the ticket.
On the
Yeah,
ticket.
and if you take a ticket to a Major League Baseball game, I assume probably minor league too.
Yeah.
Sure.
You are entering yourself into a contract that they are not held to be held liable for anything that happens to you.
Right, which is weird because I would have assumed like stadiums would be all over that. Like some kid gets hit by a foul ball. Oh, we'll totally cover everything. Season tickets. Like that's great marketing. Like totally encourage people to get hit by the ball and then, roll it into something awesome.
I don't
That's
think
what you
they
should
would
be doing.
encourage people.
Yeah.
I will say there was someone who was that woman who had bone fractures from taking a foul ball into the face. She did get offered a season pass, but again, they don't pay for your medical stuff. That's on you. You're there,
Right?
Because they have talked about suing stadiums to increase the netting, and oddly enough, a lot of stadiums go, no, that's part of the game.
Right.
I
The best you're going to get is if you're sitting behind home plate, you're going to get some netting.
I can build
Otherwise, watch out.
I can build an $80 million stadium, but netting, no, sir.
They
the
say
question.
that it takes away the experience of the
Right.
fan being close to the field. I get it.
Yeah, and you want to, there's that whole thing of catching a ball, and that's not going to happen with increased netting. That kid who's there with his dad who got pulled out of school is not going to be able to make that miracle catch and have the memory of a lifetime.
No.
If they have more netting.
So what's more embarrassing, saying you got a black guy from a hot dog, or the guy that was gonna go catch the ball for his girlfriend and then at the last second freaked out and pulled back and she got drilled in the face. You always remember that video?
I remember that.
Yeah.
That
The
was
girl
so
that got
bad.
drilled with a ball.
It is telling that we all remember that video.
Yeah. What's more embarrassing? The guy.
It's got to be that guy,
Oh,
right?
yeah, that
It's got to
guy.
be that guy.
think?
No
Yeah,
question.
absolutely.
Oh, I don't know.
He
The hot
doesn't-
dog's pretty.
Yeah, a hot dog gave me a black eye. It's pretty
Yeah.
embarrassing. How did the hell
She
did that happen?
She goes to work the next day. Oh my God, Judy, what happened? Are you okay? Do you need us to call the authorities, on your husband? No, it's fine. I got hit with a hot dog wrapped in duct tape at 300 miles an hour out of a cannon at a game.
Let's be real. Her coworkers know. They saw the news.
Oh yeah. Sure. And that's one of the things I've said before, kind of off the show. people with those like T-shirt cannons and hot dog cannons, it's all the same technology.
Yeah.
You get ridiculous with those things.
I want to get my hands on one so
Yeah.
bad.
Oh man,
So-
yeah, just like a UPS driver. Like, you don't have to have a license to operate that machinery. Like,
No.
anybody can do it. Yeah, those people aren't trained in the art of the T-shirt cannon. They just hand it to some intern, and they're like, "Have fun, kid. Aim high." Like, that's the whole thing.
So when I was in fact an intern in Oklahoma City, we had a T-shirt cannon that we were able, I have no idea, an engineer like souped up, and we were able to shoot Coke cans out of it,
Wow.
like full on 16-ounce Coke cans.
Pressurized
12 ounce
ammunition.
Yeah, pressurized. So we would go up at the top of our building. We were at 50 Pin Place in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
If you're familiar, right there across from Penn Avenue Mall. And we would shoot off of our building, which is way up high, over the street and hit the roof of the mall. And you would just hear we're aiming for like
hooligans.
their AC unit. And you would just
Oh
hear
my
like
gosh.
boom, and it would hit. It didn't do any like damage, but it would do like
Damage.
It would go
Yeah.
boom, and you see the security guards like scrambling around trying to find like who's up on the roof. Oh, it was so
Taking
much fun.
mortar fire.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was so much
No.
fun.
Get that.
Oh man.
Hindsight, like the non 19-year-old version
Sure.
of me goes, ooh, that was really
Maybe not
dumb.
the smartest thing to do.
Yeah,
Was it
'cause-
during the day this happened?
Oh, at night. Literally
Oh,
at night.
okay.
So we would come
Great.
back from like a concert, and after having, I was of age, so having consumed some alcoholic beverages,
Right.
didn't want to drive home. So instead, we just go up on the roof and shoot Coke cans off of the roof across the street.
Keen listeners at home will catch when Josh said he was 21 and doing this. Yeah,
Yeah.
Of legal age
Yeah.
and firing T-shirt cannon sodas.
Up to 21. Yeah, I don't think I was underage drinking. Yeah, that's
Right,
no,
not
of course not.
acceptable.
I was on level when I was hammered. Yeah.
So tell me if you think this is a fair trade, because they offer, she says, or at least it seems to be from the news report, that she doesn't seem like she's going to sue over this.
Yeah.
And the team has offered her tickets to one game. That's
One
all. That's
game?
all they're giving in compensation for having to go to the hospital after being shot with a hot dog wrapped in duct tape. You get tickets to one game.
You get to come back to the scene of the crime.
Exactly. Yeah, come back. Maybe we won't do it again.
Again, I think the best course of action, like the season ticket thing I mentioned earlier, you don't have to give her season tickets. Just give her some kind of card that gets her like 2 free hot dogs at every game she goes to for the rest of her
Sure.
life. Like, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's a good punctuation on the end of this story.
Or
I
bad
think.
taste.
Yeah, or bad day. One of the two. We're going to take
Yeah.
a quick break. When we come back, we have how you can be punished in Japan for leaving work early. That and more coming up next. Oh wow, that is ingenuity at its best.
Fascinating to watch.
Ingenuity. That
So-
was the if you're only hearing the audio version of that, that is the organ grinder that is doing a smooth criminal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some organ grinder somewhere. That's also as close as we can get to running smooth criminal without a copyright violation.
We'll probably still get hit
Yeah.
for
Probably
that.
we'll
still
probably
will.
get
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's true.
I love how, one, he's like way into it, which
Oh,
you have
yeah.
to be. Like, you have to be into it. And also, he's doing it in the middle of a bunch of felled
Yeah.
trees or something like that.
It looks
I don't
like
really understand where he
scraps
is.
of
Yeah, it's
wood
a lumber lumberyard. It looks like.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
So we all know that other cultures have different rules and regulations of how they handle employment relations. I just read the other day in Japan, where this story takes place, that they have lifetime employment. So for a lot of jobs, after you're employed there, you can't get fired. They have to deal with you no matter what. And so they're very careful who they choose because it is a lifetime commitment. You also can't quit. You're there. You're locked in for a lifetime of working with this company.
How about it?
Again, I don't. That's all I know. I'm sure there's a lot of stipulations and a lot of rules to go into it.
So many questions.
But at least that's the way it was in this book that I read. In the 80s and 90s. Maybe they've changed since then. This book is a little bit older, but at some point in time, that was the rule of law for Japan.
In a way, doesn't that sound good for business? I mean,
what they were saying was they liked it because it forced companies to deal with the actual problems and to deal with situations and not because you also got guaranteed your salary increase by like 10% every 2 years.
Right.
It was a guaranteed salary increase, and so you had to make money, you had to be profitable, and then you had to retire at a certain age. So you had to either move up or move down. Either way, so if you had been there for 35 years, you're going to make $70,000 a year, no matter what, whether you're the janitor or whether you're a CEO.
Yeah.
So it was like, hey, we're all on the up and up. We're all as a unit trying to get someplace. So it created really good businesses at the same time.
Right. A man on Facebook saying Japan isn't like that now, but there is a mentality that the business is the most important thing, and your work should be towards helping the company. So
right.
That attitude remains, but you're not forced to do it anymore.
Strong work ethic over there.
Sure. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That plays into the current news story that we have, that a Japanese worker was punished for taking lunch 3 minutes early.
3 minutes.
Yep.
180 seconds.
He punched out before he was supposed to punch out.
Had to go catch the lunch break.
Yeah, had to log on. The hours were a little bit different, but he had to log on to catch the lunch break.
I guess he was working the night shift over there.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
So he was fined. He was fined. That was his punishment. He was fined for taking 3 minutes off.
Fined?
Yeah. Like I don't know if he had to pay for those 3 minutes, whatever that time is.
Yeah.
I'm sure he had to pay more because that doesn't seem like a whole lot. When it all kind of gets scrambled down, but he wanted to go watch TV, and so he did go leave to watch TV.
I'm not wrong.
Hey, World Cup's on. Come on.
Right.
Yeah, of course he did. Who doesn't?
Give the guy a break.
Yeah, and so he's also forced to take over 100 hours of overtime for free.
Okay, well
that
punishment fits that crime.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So
and he gets shot with a duct tape wrapped hot dog.
Yeah,
Isn't that?
I don't really understand
this. We can agree that's a little exploitative, right?
Sure.
On account of the employer.
Totally. Yes.
Like, come on.
A little,
3 minutes off, 100 hours you have to come in. Like,
for
that
overtime.
doesn't
Now, he gets paid for the overtime. It's not free work, but but he has to do it. He can't be like, nah, I'd rather not. You got to come in.
At least he gets paid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got that.
It's just one of those deals. It's a lot. It's a lot of. He works for the company called, and I'm going to mispronounce this, Karoshi.
Okay.
Karosishi, and they've known to really overwork certain employees.
Right.
So that's kind of like their thing. It's you work here, and that's what you do.
It's their favorite bit.
Yeah, it's not a leisurely time in the office. You come here, you work.
Right.
And it's because my wife and I had that conversation about the difference between working at home and working in an office setting. She's like, no, when you work from home, people don't count in the whole like, hey, like when you go for a coffee break, or when you go take a lap, or when you chat with a coworker for 15 or 20 minutes to kind of like take a decompression break. They don't factor that in when you're working online from home, because your hours are tracked, and so when you're actually working is what you get paid for.
Right.
And that's not the same when you're working from an office.
Samantha and Amanda are quick to point out on Facebook that there's a company in Dallas that fines its employees for being late.
Samantha doing a fine job of hiding the identity
Fixed
of
amount. I won't say who it is. Not on this program, but in the Facebook comments. There's a fixed amount taken out of your salary for clocking in late, and yeah.
The Schmitter Schmidt.
I mean, Amanda's saying even if it's a second late, I guess they have some kind of time.
Well, yeah,
time clock punch system.
A lot
right?
of companies, you log in. When you log into the computer, that's when your time starts.
Yeah,
I know.
I've punched an actual time clock in my time.
Ooh, I have too. When I worked for a grocery store, I had to clock in.
Yeah, digital time clock. I never had a card, but
I had a card. I had a card and
everything.
everything. You slide that thing in the slot, little like that.
Yeah.
Felt like a grown up.
But so for Fossil, when my wife worked there a long time ago, like 10 years ago, you had to log into the computer, and once you logged into Kronos on your computer, that was when you were checked in.
Yeah.
So you actually had to be at your desk. You couldn't like just like walk in the building and be there. You had to like actually walk in, sit down, put in your password and code, and hit start, and that's when your day started. You actually had to like sign out when you left, and that was when your clock started.
That's when you get your buddy in the next cubicle to.
So yeah, she had that. Obviously, she worked with her
obviously
big time.
Yeah, her friend to go, hey, go log me in. I'm running 5-10 minutes late. Whenever we worked at iHeart together, that's where my wife and I met. We had a kit, and I feel bad outing out all of her tricks.
Yeah,
but she had.
She doesn't work there anymore.
She had a thing called the kit. And there was other names for it, but she called it the kit. And so she would like send me a text like, hey, I'm running late. Can you put out the kit? This is a genius scam. I'd go over, turn on her computer, open a file that just had nothing but like random paperwork in it, turn her lamp on, and so it looked like she had walked away from her computer, but like had like stuff open and lights on. Yeah.
This is very clever.
Oh yeah, and then she would walk in and put her bag down in an empty cubicle, and like, oh hey guys, how's it going? And then later on, grab her bag and bring it back. So it just looked like. I'm not 20 minutes. I've been here. Where have you guys been? I've been working on other stuff somewhere else.
Wow.
Yeah, genius. She is definitely one of the smarter women I've ever met in my entire life.
I love it.
Yeah.
Very clever. I guess it's probably fortunate she's not still there, because clearly that job was not something she was into. Like, that doesn't sound like rules that you wanted to play by. You shouldn't have to, right? Be a professional.
That just sounds like fun to me.
Be a professional for your own thing. Yeah, if you don't want to have to work at a job where you have to be at a place at a certain time, or else you got to have a kit. You shouldn't have to. Yeah, but good for her. Very intuitive.
Beating the
right.
system.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back,
before we go,
yeah,
I just want to say we're gonna resume by popular request. We're gonna resume the Long Man
Oh,
saga.
thank God!
Yes.
Thank God.
So
that organ grinder crap
ready.
was stupid.
I
Let's get to
created,
the.
I created a little primer for people who might have forgotten what happened since Wednesday.
All right.
So if you'll join me, we'll watch this together, and then during the break, we'll regale you with the conclusion of the Long Man.
Exciting conclusion.
Long man.
So the rest of that will be coming up later.
Wow. Color me impressed. Okay, first
something.
off, pretty solid little compilation. Things went together
thank
well.
you. I tried to keep the story together.
Yeah,
so.
you did a good job. I like the fade on the end, and the looping sax was great.
Sure,
I
absolutely.
was a big fan of that. Well done.
I did have to get out of my chair to go watch from the back of the room because I didn't want to miss a single second of that.
It's tough in that chair. I think it's deceptively difficult to turn around and watch something on that TV. It's hard. Like you're right up. You're in the front row of the movie theater.
So we'll go to break. When we come back, we have news with Sarah Strackhouse, and don't forget the next installment of the Long Man.
Stay tuned, folks.
目移りするの地位の悪い癖だよ。
だって長いんだもん。
長さに騙されてんじゃねえよ。え？避けるグミ一袋分並べていくと、ほら、同じ長さになるの。
避ける組対長い避ける組。
ちーちゃん聞いてもいい？
何？
プロポーズってどんな風にされたい？
え？
正直に言ってごらん。
フラッシュモブは嫌かな。なんかこっぱずかしいし、フラッシュモブ以外の。
ちーちゃん、僕と結婚。
Long, long, my...
耳長っ。
避ける組対長い避ける組。
Well, that was a sight. Oh gosh. Okay.
Strap
Definitely some production on the end. They had like a mall and they had a lot of extras. Like they went on location. Like there was
I gotta say,
something.
these things are well shot.
They're
really well done.
Is there anything after that?
Is there more to come?
Is there more?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay.
We got 2 more breaks of this.
I was afraid that was the exciting conclusion. We'll
No.
Can't wait.
Welcome back.
It goes places.
Yeah.
Don't
Welcome.
understand them.
You know, there's not a whole lot to understand.
Well, it's just that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. It's kind of
avant-garde.
crazy.
Yeah, you watch it and what you take from it is the experience, I guess.
All right.
Welcome back to the lunch break for those who are unaware. Did Josh say he was taking off in between?
No, this is a shock to our viewers right now.
Yes.
Perfect segue. Yeah.
This is me making the sound effect.
I'm Zach here with Anna, Matt, and Sarah Strackhouse doing news on the end. Josh ducked out because he is a hard worker, I guess. There he is, if you can see him.
Yeah, he's busy with something.
Yeah, he's got stuff going on. I wonder what he's up to. Anyway, we're here for the news with Sarah Strackhouse, and she's got some hot stories. Sarah?
So I do want to apologize ahead of time. There are a lot of the same subject. All right. So we're starting off today talking immigration. It's been at the top of the list all week. Trump's zero tolerance policy for adults didn't go over so well. So according to Fox News, he signed an order on Wednesday, quote, allowing children to stay with parents caught crossing the border illegally. Now, many have tweeted that the crisis isn't fixed. There's still more debate to be had between Democrats and Republicans. Since May, the AP did report that 500 children have been reunited with their parents. That's of the 2,300 that have been separated thus far. Also on the topic of immigration, a photo and a jacket going viral. So this is probably one of the photos. Here's the jacket. So the jacket Melania Trump wore yesterday boarding the plane to visit the Texas facility housing migrant children. It had written, "I really don't care, do you?" ? Well, Trump tweeted that it was in regards to fake news, but obviously many people had a lot of issues with it. It didn't seem like an appropriate thing to wear. So a lot of debate went back and forth about this.
Yeah, I've said this in the past about political statements, and I don't know. I don't know if this was a statement about the immigration policy. I don't know if it was a statement about the way people criticize what she wears to certain things. I mean, who knows? But my problem with things like this is if you're making a political statement, why don't you make it obvious what you're trying to say rather than
agree. Have people wonder.
Right, yeah, it loses all effect if the conversation is about, well, what topic is she trying to say, or is she even trying to say something, or like it doesn't, like if that's what you're trying to do, then make it obvious. Don't let us sit here guessing about it, and then it loses all effect.
Right, and some might say that, well, it is obvious. I mean, look, it's right there on the back of her jacket. But like whoever her representative is came out with a statement and said, no, it doesn't mean anything.
They said there's no political announcement here, but
that has to mean something.
Well, I think I don't think she. Obviously, I don't know, but in my mind, I would just like to think that she doesn't put a piece of clothing on her body without choosing it carefully.
She's a former model.
She's a former model, so it's curious to me that she chose this for this event.
Right.
But
I mean, we. Obviously, the presidency is not equivalent of like the royal family over there, but like Kate Middleton, the new
Meghan
Markle, that one was getting roasted the other day because she was wearing a dress where you could see her shoulders, and people were like, "Oh my God, you represent the royal family, you can't." And then she does this, and people are like, "Oh, it's fine, doesn't mean anything." Like, come on. Come on, like if people are going to read into this, and I think coming out with a statement saying it means nothing, you're looking too far into it is a little obtuse.
If it was interesting, I'll just say if it wasn't a statement, then somebody failed at their job hardcore and didn't look at that and say, maybe you shouldn't wear that. Maybe in this political climate right now,
and this specific event,
what you're about to do.
Yeah, that was curious.
Maybe don't wear that. I don't know. Otherwise, I have no idea what it could mean.
And then Trump's tweet saying that it was about fake news. It was very interesting.
Oh, he tweeted about it?
Oh, yeah. He said this is in regards to fake news she's realized, and it's just over it.
What?
Yeah, I can read it word for word here.
Please.
All right, let's pull it up.
Yeah, sorry. I don't
No,
have to
no,
put you
you're
on the
good.
spot.
No, you're good.
I didn't
Okay.
know he had a...
No, he said,
yeah.
He quoted it, "I really don't care, do you?" ? And then written on the back of Melania's jacket refers to the fake news media. Melania has learned how dishonest they are, and she truly no longer cares.
Okay, I definitely can get on board with the "she no longer cares" part. I think that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know this isn't a political show. We shouldn't dig too far into it. Anybody else want to?
Maybe we move on.
Maybe we should just move on.
It's probably.
I'd love to talk
fair.
about it more, but that's not what this show is. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, another, talking immigrant, the photo that people are talking about, people are criticizing the Times for printing a photo of a crying child with Trump looking down with talks of immigration and family separation. But the parents of the child said that the child was never separated from his mother.
Right.
So that's another, like you said, this isn't a political show, but some...
well, the news is an interesting opportunity to talk about this stuff. That's and this stuff is dominating the news. And as far as dominating as the news is concerned, Time Magazine's got to put out a magazine every week.
Yeah.
They're known for their vivacious headlines and covers, all right?
Yep.
So this stuff, I mean, like you said, it's been dominating the news.
Yep.
It's what people are talking about.
Yep.
It's on Twitter. It's wild. This comes out. Time puts out a headline, and the biggest critique of their cover is, "Hey, that one kid, that didn't happen to." Like, all right,
But why did they
an
choose
image
that
for
kid
imagery.
then? I feel like they should have. Like, there were so many other children, 2,300 that they could have chosen.
Fit the concept. When you're creating a cover, you need an image. And
Yeah.
They must have known they were going to get backlash for that. Then
Maybe at the time they didn't know.
It could it could have been whoever's working on design down at Time just like grabbed what they thought was an iconic image, and they were like, "This will work." Like maybe they didn't do the research like I think a publication does, but. It is weird. You're right. Out of all the images,
out of all the photos, because I'm sure there were 2,300 kids.
Out of all the children, why that child?
Why that one?
Yeah, sure. Well, I guess that's fair. Anyway, next.
Moving on.
Well, our next story does have immigration, but not quite as in depth. CNN reports that the government is contemplating sending about 20,000 undocumented children to U.S. military bases for housing. A total of 2,300, like we said, were separated from their families. AP reports 500 have been reunited. The Department of Health and Human Services is examining the bases and seeing if they are fit for housing.
Gotcha.
So,
Anybody want to? No.
All right. Well, we're talking about Roseanne Barr next. So.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Let's go.
Perfect. Yeah.
All right. Making headlines again. Yesterday, ABC announced that they're working on a spin-off show to the Roseanne show called The Conners, but Roseanne Barr won't be involved in it at all. Now, remember, of course, she drew criticism and ultimately lost her show after a racist tweet about a former Obama advisor. She has since apologized, but many are saying too little, too late. Good Housekeeping reports the series is going to focus on the family. Now, this is interesting. After a, quote, sudden turn of events.
Ooh. Are they going to kill her off?
I don't know.
You gotta, right? Ooh, maybe she'll just be a dream. Maybe that'll be...
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
She had a heart attack, and Dan imagined the whole first season. Yeah. God.
No idea.
I'm really curious. I'm really curious how they're going to handle that. I assume. I mean, I guess you're not going to get her to shoot anything. So
are any of us Roseanne watchers in here?
To be honest, I've never seen it.
I don't know if I have seen a couple, maybe like on Nick at Night back in the day, but I don't. Matt, you got any Roseanne in you?
I mean, I've watched it before, the original run. I didn't watch any of the new run.
I guess I was curious if anybody could offer wisdom as to whether or not they think the show can hold water without the titular character.
I mean, everyone else is apparently gonna be in it. Most of the main players. But
I can't speak for everybody on the show, but like somebody like John Goodman, I'm like he does movies. Like he could hold a show, maybe. I don't know. I guess it all comes down to the writing and whether or not you can write out a character well. So, yeah.
The character.
I mean, people have died before, literally.
Yeah.
So the show carried on.
It work.
Show must go on.
Spinoffs are tough, but who knows? Maybe they can make it happen.
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Well, on our kicker for the day, we are traveling to India. According to UPI, a rat crawled into an ATM there, and police said it ruined about $20,000 worth of currency. The State Bank of India apparently found them all shredded inside the ATM. It had been broken down since May 20th, but apparently a technician didn't start working on it till about mid-July.
Yeah.
And then days later, they found a rat carcass.
Somebody somewhere who's sitting on like a bunch of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is like laughing hysterically reading this
That
story.
wouldn't happen.
You fools with your
paper.
Yeah, with your paper. think everything's so great.
Yeah.
That's a bummer, I guess. As far as insurance goes, is that come on, that's got to fall under like an act of God kind of thing, right? Right?
They reported it to police, and they reported it to their state bank. In the story, at least the one that I read, it didn't say kind of where their next steps were. But I don't know if it's something.
Where was this again? China?
India.
India.
Yeah.
How much money?
I wonder if there's an equivalent to an FDIC in India that insures that money. Maybe there is. I don't know.
Something, but and I know it's kind of different, but it's 12,38,000 rupees.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
Okay.
translate that.
That's a chunk of change.
Chunk of change.
I think that's fair. And they're
20,000, I think, is.
These were just rats that chewed it up, plural.
Rat.
Rat. One rat.
Well, carcass.
Okay. The others moved on.
I don't know. Maybe.
Wait,
they did.
a rat carcass?
A rat carcass was found, so they decided that the rat must have.
Apparently, rats can only eat so many rupees.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Move on to something else. Well, dang.
All right, so prepare yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All this amount means $18,242.
$18,000.
That's a lot.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
close
like
to 20.
12
Yeah, close to 20 grand.
These have to have been some big bills, because how can one rat go through all that? And that
maybe it was nesting.
That was going to be. You might be right. That was going to be my next point. If there wasn't proof of this stuff, if there wasn't evidence of chewed up money, I'd say somebody totally ripped that off. Yeah. That was a con, and somehow they're blaming a rat, and that's a bummer for the rat, I guess. Yeah.
They say no foul play on the part of a human is suspected.
Right.
I smell a rat.
Well, gosh, Sarah Strackhouse, thanks for joining us for the news.
having
I
me,
appreciate
guys.
it. Yeah, when we come back, a funny story about a plane and air conditioning, and a terrible segue. We'll be right back with more on the lunch break. So check this out. Josh told me if the computer does anything weird, he told me the pin to get back into it. Totally just restarted it. I accidentally hit forgot password, and here I am. So now I'm in too deep. Yeah, I don't have a story.
Where do we go from here?
I don't have a story to talk about. I can't read it.
You know what? We'll just we'll continue our breaks.
Yeah, please do. Why don't we do we have music we can head right back into?
I don't know.
Wait, maybe I can get it back.
We'll do this.
You got it?
ちーちゃん
ダメ結婚式までお預け
シェーおやすみ
おやすみシートベルトお締めください
Long, long way.
どちらまで
どうして
は
あすいませんやっぱり忘れられない
避ける組対長い避ける組
叫んじゃねえぞはたぼうよ
Long, long way.
してくれると思ってた
避ける組対長い避ける組
Of so much about these ads. I really do. Oh man, it just keeps getting better. They got a whole wedding, and they got like people out and costumes, and Good Lord.
I don't know what to expect next. It's just kind of like, what else that is in the randomness kind of universe that they can show us.
I will say there's a good payoff at the end of this.
There is.
Is there really?
So
there is.
I don't know. It can get better, honestly. Like, it keeps... Cutting to the wedding was fantastic. Oh, man.
And then her face just, like, going down the, walking down out of church with her face, like... not sure.
Clearly not into it.
Exactly, like,
Yeah.
What have I done?
I love the coat with the incredibly long
it's
tail.
a mile long, sure.
It's
Of
really
course
good.
she shows up in a limo.
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you?
Welcome back to the lunch break. I'm your temporary host, Zach, along with Anna and Matt. We are talking about a pilot on an Air Asia flight that wanted to get people off the plane efficiently. And I got to be honest, I think this is a good thing. I don't see a reason not to encourage people to get off a plane fast.
They should.
People take way too long. I know
Why loiter in a plane? That doesn't make any sense.
That's right. And I know planes aren't exactly set up for efficient evacuation without using some kind of slide or other evacuation system. Everybody's going to get up and get their stuff and kind of file out. And it's a whole hassle.
Also, if you're flying on a plane anytime soon and you're seated towards the back, don't get up whenever the door opens. You're not getting out anytime soon.
You're not that guy.
Sit down.
Yeah.
Relax. It'll get to you.
Yeah.
But don't stand in the aisle and make me feel uncomfortable just because you can't wait to stand up.
Right. Somebody's always got to be that person. I could have stood up and walked to the bathroom or done something when the seatbelt light was off, but I didn't. And now that the plane has landed, I have to immediately get on my feet and just inconvenience a lot of people.
Start digging through the overhead bin.
Yeah, and like people, get anxious. Oh, we gotta rush. Like, relax. It's fine. You've been on the plane forever. Just a little while longer won't hurt.
But what I think is incredible is that if you take a transatlantic flight, the plane is gigantic. People still do that. I'm towards the back, and I am amazed at how people, literally, the plane has landed, we're kind of getting towards the gate. People are already kind of like almost pulling their clothes out or in or whatever, and then just like literally, as soon as it stops, they get up, and I'm like, buddy, did you not see that we have so many people in front of us? You're not going to get out of this plane for at least 10 minutes.
Right. You're just going to stand there and clog up the aisle. And look, I want to point out, Amanda on Facebook's trying to shame me right now by saying
what do you mean?
she could get a blood clot by sitting there. I'm not saying
10 minutes.
Stand up. Stand up during the flight if you need to walk around.
Yeah, you can.
For goodness sake, stand up if it's a medical issue. I'm talking about when the plane taxis into the ramp and the door opens and everybody makes this mad rush to jump up into the aisle.
It always happens.
Let's just hang out for you've been sitting on a plane for 5 hours.
Yeah.
Get up, walk around during the plane, during the ride. But when you're there, all you're doing is clogging up the aisleway for other people.
And why does it all? Why? You're so right, though. It happens every time. Every plane I've ever been on. Like,
every time.
Plane lands, somebody in every row stands up. Like, gotta stand up and stretch my legs. Like, no, you're just impatient. That's all it is. Let's be honest with ourselves.
In Europe, we have a company called Ryanair, and it's a low-cost company. Okay. Now, if you're annoyed at people that get up as soon as you taxi, can you imagine? You land, and people start clapping.
Oh, they're
and
just happy
and a horn will blow
if
we make it before time.
Okay.
Before the flight is scheduled to get to the
That sounds
airport.
like fun.
I mean, after you've flown like 100 million times on Ryanair, you will get upset at that. I would think you'd be like, "What? No, you're in for this." Okay, I'm amazed.
I've never flown Ryan. Have you ever flown Spirit Airlines here
I haven't.
in the States? Oh, Matt, have you?
No, I've not had the pleasure, but I know about them.
Don't ever.
No.
It's the worst. Like whatever the difference is in price when you're looking at airlines and you're thinking, well, Spirit's $50 cheaper. There's a reason. It's not worth it. Don't do it. You're gonna be miserable. They charge for water on the plane. Water.
Sure.
If you want a cup of water, it's $1.99. Like, come on, just don't. It's not worth it. The other thing I wanted to get to before I get to this story, because you got me going now. When you get on a plane, where do you land on the tilting your seat back? Because there's two kinds of people in the world. There's people who believe I paid for the ticket, I can tilt my seat back, and I don't care about the guy behind me because he can do it too, and everybody can do it on the plane. And there's people who say, no, it's inconsiderate, we're already crammed in, I shouldn't do it, and I should be nice to the person behind me and give them the room, and we should all be uniform.
Here's the thing. If the person behind me has 7-foot legs, I might consider not doing it.
Okay.
Otherwise, what is it doing to you? What is it doing to you if my seat leans back this much?
There's only
this much.
There's only
what is it doing to you that my seat leans back a half inch?
All right, to be fair, for anybody who can't see, Matt's holding his hands about, what is that, 6 inches maybe?
Yeah.
That's generous. I'd say it's even less than
Probably.
that. It's not
Probably
much.
less.
You don't have that much room in the seats. You only got like 2 feet of like wiggle room between the back seat and the next seat. Like, so you gotta make it work. That few
not hitting
inches
your
can make
legs.
all the difference. Well, unless you're like 7 foot tall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in that case, I would say, hey, would you mind?
Yeah.
Or is it a problem? If they have a problem, I'm not going to be a jerk and do it. But if it's a regular sized human being behind me, that's what they're built for.
I'm unfortunate because I feel like I've lucked into happening to sit behind the person who's the only person in the row that does it, which makes it worse. Like every row, every seat in the row in front of you is uniform, and all of them look good. And then as soon as the plane takes off, crank, it comes back, and it's the one that's jutting out from all the others. And of course, I'm like 6'3", so it hits me in the knees, and it's a whole thing. But I guess the older I get, the more I figure like, you're right. Everybody in the plane can tilt back. So if somebody tilts back on you, you can do it to the person behind you.
Pay it forward.
Right. Pay it backward. The only person who's really in trouble here is the person in the back of the plane. And the issue is, if you're in the back, you accept that responsibility. And you're closest to the bathroom. And you probably get service before everybody else because they roll the cart backwards.
There are other things that are...
Yeah, but you can't tilt back. So
I don't like this social pressure to not lean your seat back. It's a feature. It's the only bit of comfort that they offer you in an airplane. Take it.
But
if they tilt back, some airlines have planes that the seats don't move.
Right. I'd like to be clear. I don't tilt back if the person in front of me doesn't. I don't extend
Really?
that. No, I don't.
You stop it. You're not going to be the one to start it.
I pay it equal. I don't pay it forward or backward.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just like, I've got enough room where I'm comfortable. Yeah. If the person in front of me hasn't tilted back and then I tilt back, well, what am I doing now? Then I'm starting to train and I'm getting that extra 3 inches and somebody else gets robbed. I'm borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. That's no good. Like, that doesn't get anybody anywhere unless you're on a plane.
Tilt
You're
your
going
seat back.
somewhere. This
Don't
plane
care about the people behind you.
in Air Asia wasn't going anywhere, and I think it's a good place to start this story. It was stalled. Long delay on the tarmac. 4 hours people sat on this plane. 4 hours on one plane, and you didn't even go anywhere.
That's miserable.
So finally, after 4 hours, the pilot says, you know what, I'm making an executive decision. Just get off the plane. Everybody go, relax, get to the airport, get yourself some BK. Really hang out. I don't know why I thought Big Burger King was like the airport food, but and
there.
people didn't want to get off. They figured, well, the plane will leave at some point. I'll just stay here. I'm pretty cozy in my seat. Maybe I don't want to lose it. Maybe it wasn't assigned seats. I don't know. But they didn't want to get off the plane. So the pilot, in order to get people off the plane, his brilliant move, I'm going to crank the AC. But he doesn't just like crank it up to 10. He goes to 11, Anna, and he turns the AC on so hard, apparently some kind of mist comes shooting out of the vents.
Great.
Oh my god!
Like the Joker in 98 Batman, 89 Batman, and people. It gets super humid and hot. I guess he was going for, like, cold air, but maybe he went to 11 on the H for hot. And people, it got so humid and nasty, people started vomiting, and then they couldn't get off the plane fast enough.
Are you serious?
And now this pilot is getting roasted because he made a bunch of people sick.
It worked. It worked.
Matt with the hot take. It did work. I'm torn here because if I'm on a plane for 4 hours sitting on the tarmac, I would have been knocking on the windows after like 20 minutes. So 4 hours is enough for me. Where when they say doors open, you can go ahead and get off. I would be the guy standing up in the aisle. Like, get me off of this plane.
Please.
I'm gonna freak out. Yeah, like absolutely.
There's nothing more miserable. Like, being on a plane is bad enough.
Yeah.
But at least you're going somewhere, and like, at the end of this thing, I'm going to be wherever it is I want to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, having to sit in a plane when there's some sort of malfunction, which I've been in, but it's never been more than an hour, which is bad. But there are stories of people obviously sitting there for 4 hours or whatever. So that is the worst is sitting there not knowing if you're going to take off. Not knowing, if they're going to let you go or if you're going to get to your destination on time or anything like that. So, yeah, you're just sitting in a cramped, going nowhere in the sun.
Yeah, and the reason that mist probably came in is because it was like, air particles and dust from the people who had been in the plane. Like,
Right.
That's getting cycled back at you. You don't want to be a part of that. And I'm not saying that these people deserve for this to happen, of course. But what I'm saying is, why would you want to stick around? Like, obviously it's a tragedy. This shouldn't have happened. But the plane had some kind of problem. It was delayed. It wasn't going anywhere. Maybe this was the issue. Maybe missed in the vents.
Yeah.
And either way, you shouldn't want to be hanging out on a plane that's busted. You shouldn't want to sit there and wait longer after you had to wait 4 hours. Like, I don't know, I guess. I wouldn't have been one of those people on that plane. So that's...
I'd have been up at the second they let me.
Yeah, like, very counterintuitive to our conversation earlier. Anna, where do you land on this?
Well, to be honest, I actually had a very similar situation when I went to LA, and we had to wait for a long time. Yeah, we were on the plane for like an hour already.
Okay.
After our flight was delayed already like 1 hour, so that, or no, 2 hours, something like this. We're already on the third hour waiting. Yeah. We are on the plane, and suddenly they say there's an issue with the weight, and they can't wait to the plane to put, I was going to say oil or petrol, god damn it, fuel on the plane.
Headlight fluid.
So they're like, we need to get everyone off. And I'm like, oh man, it's already been 3 hours. But I'm like, okay, I'll hop off. But everyone kind of seemed like, they kind of like, oh, gotta get off now. And because the thing is, you put your bags inside, and you know you're already comfy, so I can get why. I was kind of like, well, I guess this plane ain't going anywhere.
Where did this happen?
Here, from here to LA.
In America?
TFW. Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever been on a plane that I thought, well, this is cozy. 3 hours? No, I can hang out.
Did they offer you anything in that situation?
No, because the flight had been delayed. So we didn't really get on board until like 2 hours later or something, because they had some engineer works going on, like the brakes or whatever. And so then later they're like, we got a new plane, go to whatever gate. Yeah. So we went there, and then we got to the plane, and there's some issue with that plane too. So and then 1 hour inside. So it's not that we were there for 3 hours, but already on an hour, you're kind of like, I am so ready to go. Yeah. But then
you weren't meant to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think the flight was meant to leave at like 7, and we only departed like 10, 11. It was crazy. So yeah, my experience, I left because I was like, well, I guess this ain't going anywhere. But people are like, oh, I gotta take all my bags out of the overhead bin, you know. Yeah.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, that's not my kind of date. Rather spend my time doing
Right, yeah, absolutely.
I can't, I always find myself perplexed by this, like, human complex to just, like, just appreciate the complacency. Like, I'm not going anywhere. Why bother? I'll just sit here longer, I guess. Like, sure.
I got nowhere to be out there.
Yeah, just roll over.
I might as well have nowhere to be in here.
What a weird world. Christine, quick to point out in the comments that I'm not a patient person. That's a lie. I'm as patient comes. So
fair enough.
Yeah. When we come back, we've got a very, very unique case of let's get the music going. Very unique case of a hybrid food in our food news. I'm bummed Josh isn't going to be here for it. Maybe he'll make an appearance.
He was very excited for this one.
Coming up on the lunch break.
一目見た時から君のことが
Long, long
俺？嘘だろ。
高いったのに。どうして？
僕らはきっと分かり合える。触ってみてもいいですか？ああ、きっとみんな分かり合える。避ける組長い避ける組。
I know Matt's in there running the board. Can we get it, please? Like, yes.
Yes. Amazing. Amazing.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
I was not expecting this.
It did get better. It got so much better.
That's what you call a payoff.
Oh man.
It was worthwhile. The build-up was insane.
What a bar for future lunch breaks. How are we gonna top that? That was incredible. It was an epic in 6 parts. Oh man.
The truest love story ever told.
It's stunned. Like a lifetime. We've grown with these people. I did not expect that to be the end. I thought it was even better because it's just so out of what anyone could have expected.
Were you ready for the long man to take her away? And
no, I just didn't.
I don't know what I was ready for.
Exactly. I didn't know what was going on. I was so ready for like surprise me.
I don't know what I expected. I am not a purveyor of Japanese candy, nor am I a purveyor of Japanese commercials, but I swear to you, if I ever see one of those sticks of gummy, I'm buying it.
I want one so bad.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. I want one so bad.
I'm going to have it right here on the show. Yeah, and do the whole tear thing. It's
Yeah.
incredible. If somebody could drop me a hot Amazon link, I'd appreciate
we need
it.
to get some
I will buy some
Anyone
of those.
going to North Dallas
I have
anytime
been sold.
soon?
Yeah.
That's some of the best advertising I've seen in years.
It's great.
Color me impressed. Speaking of ads for foods, we have a weird hybrid thing. Matt, you found this story. This is I don't know the best way to introduce this, honestly. Maybe you know something I don't.
I mean, we could just introduce it by its name, which is the Donug.
The Donug.
The Donug.
Yes. A donut chicken nugget hybrid.
Yes.
Yeah. It is a kind of a free-range chicken nugget breaded with cornflakes and panko breadcrumbs for texture. Slathered with your choice of a spicy chili sauce, cheesy Dijon, or mozzarella-based Japanese curry. It's kind of turning. It came from people making sushi donuts, which I guess is a thing.
Oh,
yeah. And somebody got the idea to try to do a donut-based chicken nugget.
Sure.
And here we are. It's currently only available in the creator's hometown of Melbourne, Australia, which is a bummer. But he did show it up on Shark Tank Australia. So maybe someday.
I'm happy to see these things come here.
There's no. I mean, I haven't seen Shark Tank Australia, but from what I know of Shark Tank in America, there's no way any of those entrepreneurs went for it, right? The Donug.
I don't know, man. That sounds pretty good.
Maybe.
I think you make some money on that thing.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I can't wait. Do we have a budget for flying to Australia?
Has anybody tried? I'm trying to think of the last like big step forward in donut technology. I think it was like the cronut.
Yeah.
Do you remember this? It's like a croissant donut. I guess it's like kind of flaky and maybe buttery or something like that, but like the texture of a donut. I don't remember. I haven't had one. But that was the last big donut craze. So the Donug, I'm on board with. And I asked Josh this before the show.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've talked to you all about it. Have you been to Gordo's in Austin?
No.
Nope.
It is a donut-based restaurant where they serve sandwiches, burgers, other meals where the buns will be donuts.
Wow.
And it's incredible.
I've seen photos. I've heard tale.
Yeah.
Of these incredible concoctions. I've never had one. I've got this complex that I've always thought like one day I'm gonna go to the doctor and they're gonna do my physical and they're gonna take my blood and they're gonna be like, well, the results are in. You're diabetic, type 2, and I'm gonna go.
You're full of donuts.
Got it. And they're gonna go. Is there any like one thing that you think back on and thought, man, I shouldn't have eaten that? That was the thing that tipped the scale. And the idea of a cheeseburger with glazed donuts for the bun is like such a great step towards that. Like that would be it. That would be the thing that my body goes, oh, and you're done. Like,
the donut
you're
Monte
punching
Cristo.
out.
The donut Monte Cristo is legit.
Really?
It's so good. Yeah, it's so good. And they're not necessarily glazed donuts. It's
Yeah.
more like donut dough, which has been fried, but they don't always put glaze. I mean, I had one last time I went down there. I had like a side of potato stew, and it was like a garlic butter donut. So it was like a donut, but instead of sweet, it had garlic and butter on it, and it was amazing.
Yeah. Real talk for a second. What kind of sauce comes with that Monte Cristo? You get like a raspberry jam kind of strawberry.
There is. I don't go for it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. No, I'm not a jam fan. But there is like some sort of raspberry glaze that you could dip in.
You're not a jam fan?
No.
Like in general?
Yeah, in general.
Why?
I don't like it. I'm not a jelly fan.
Oh, okay. So it's not just jelly. It's not just jam. This is exclusive to all
any sort of fruit paste. I'm not
really.
Yeah. No.
What about it?
No thing. I don't like the texture, and
Okay.
I mean I like fruits as they were intended,
Yeah.
which is fresh. I don't like apple pie. I don't like where you're baking fruits of any sort. You know, anything like that. I just like eat a strawberry. I'll eat an apple, but I'm not having warmed, baked. Or jellied any of these things.
All right. Well, I don't have much to say about that. I guess Hannah, do you?
Well, not about the.
I can get on board with a good jelly.
Specific
Some
jelly. I
preservatives, why
love
not?
it. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are.
I love peanut butter.
Okay. Creamy.
As
right?
a sole trader, just
You gotta be
alone there on that bread.
You gotta be a creamy peanut butter guy, right?
Oh wow.
Oh,
Crunchy
yeah.
or creamy?
Yeah, creamy. Absolutely.
Crunchy.
Crunchy? I go back and forth. I currently we have a jar of both. We get Skippy Creamy and Skippy Crunchy in our pantry. So yeah, either
Sad.
or, I guess.
I need
that's the only way to live. Have the option. All right. Why wouldn't you? I did want to ask, if you're gonna get this thing, I'll read you the description again. Which sauce do you get? Because these are all very different. You got a free-range chicken nugget breaded with cornflakes and panko breadcrumbs for texture. Sounds like something you eat at the fair. You get 3 options for sauce: spicy chili, cheesy Dijon mustard, or mozzarella-based curry.
Mozzarella.
So, curry,
for sure.
mustard, spicy.
I might go spicy on that one.
I'd probably go spicy.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not so bad.
The Dijon sounds all right too. I don't know what a cheesy Dijon tastes like, but I'm willing to find out.
Could be cool for what it's
Maybe.
worth. Well, I think that about wraps the lunch break for today.
I think so, yeah.
This is gonna sound foolish. Do I need to play any music off this thing, or?
Yeah. Put a little
Just
going
a
out
little
too.
something.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for listening.
Dealer's choice.
We appreciate you tuning in. If you thought I was a better host than Josh, leave a vote in the comments. All 3 of you. I gotta be honest. I definitely lost some viewers in the time I was on the show.
Wasn't gonna say anything.
We'll
just go.
Yeah, you're just gonna keep that in your back pocket. We learned a lot about each other, but more importantly, we learned a lot about ourselves. So thanks for tuning in. I'll get some music going. If you want to catch more of the lunch break, that'll work. You can tune in on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, podcast.com. That's where you can find the audio version of it. It's not quite as fun as the video, but at least you can hear the Long Man saga. Thanks for listening. We'll be back Monday, right?
Monday it is.
Today's Friday.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Whoop,
All right.
whoop.
Well,
Have a
enjoy your
good
weekend, folks.
Monday, 12 o'clock. Tune in. We'll see you. Thanks a lot.